To start my series on Baroque art, I want to discuss what it is and how it came to be an entire age of art from the early 1600s into the mid 1700s. So the term Baroque was first used by Jacob Burckhardt to describe post-Renaissance art. He used it in an article published in Le Cicerone. If I pronounced that wrong, I'm really sorry. The word Baroque is actually a derivative of the Spanish and Portuguese words for a misshapen pearl. It was used to describe Baroque art because Baroque art was considered a twisted deviation from Renaissance art. It was imperfect, beautiful, but imperfect. The term Baroque became the accepted title for the art, music, and architecture of the 1700s when Renaissance und Baroque, it's spelled Barock, was written by Heinrich Wölfflin. It outlined specific differences between Renaissance and Baroque art, and it created a definition for categorizing Baroque art into its own niche of works of art, music, etc. The religious turmoil of the 16 to 1700s is a key player in the development of Baroque art style and the differences between regions that played a part in this. The Reformation of the Catholic Church, labeled the Counter-Reformation, was started in response to the Protestant Reformation. The Protestant Reformation was started by a man named Martin Luther. He used a manuscript called the 95 Theses to make the case that the Pope and the Church had strayed too far from the Bible and had become corrupt and idol-worshipping. He also stated that the belief in Jesus was the only way to be forgiven by God for your sins, and that the Pope had absolutely no jurisdiction over purgatory. All of this in the shadow of the Renaissance, bringing knowledge and enlightened thinking to the masses, created massive breaks in the Catholic faith. It split into dozens of factions all across Europe, and this Reformation of the Protestant Church is followed by, not necessarily followed, but it is in time with the Catholic Counter-Reformation. So the Pope begins a program to properly train priests and spread Catholicism to the New World and focus on good works being the key to forgiveness, doing good for your fellow man, and following Jesus' teachings rather than just the pure belief in Jesus. I'm not here to give a lesson on religion. That's not my thing. Everybody believes their own whatever. I don't care. I'm just giving a description of what is behind this art movement. All of this is important because it shaped Baroque art separately in Northern and Southern Europe. The patronage of the Catholic Church in Southern Europe let the Baroque art become very religious. It led to very graphic portrayals of religious dogma, so that the average man could walk into a church and see a picture, a visual of whatever story they may have heard from the priest or read in the Bible, and it was something relatable, something concrete, and it was done not in the perfection sense of the Renaissance where everything was beautiful and perfect, but these artworks were done with a sense of violence, a sense of reality, a sense of these are human beings. And it changed the way that the actual believers looked at their faith. Now, on the flip side of that, the Protestant Church, mostly in Northern Europe, viewed all of this as idolatry. They stopped patronizing artists almost completely. And the result is an entirely different approach to Baroque art. The focus in Northern Europe ended up being on everyday life, the common man, things that happen every day, human behavior now, well, in their now. They also did a lot of more landscapes and more, just more of the everyday. And it was the most beautiful, impressive of some of the things that you'll see in that type of landscape painting. So as the Baroque period gets rolling, focus on extreme light and deep shadows, bold use of primary color. All of these pieces wrap around a main idea of freezing a moment in time. Whether it was Catholic, not Catholic, landscape, all of it. These painters focused on these beautiful, specific moments in time. People caught mid-motion. No more sitting statically and staring at space or staring at an object. These people in these paintings were in the middle of something. Landscapes were capturing clouds mid-motion so that you were watching the storm roll in from a distance, and you could see the deep shadows these clouds were laying on the land, along with these beautiful fractions of light. Now, this is my personal opinion, but these were beautiful displays of life in its most grotesque, horrible, loving, courageous, violent, frightening forms, authenticating humanity so that everyone could see realness, just a real essence of life, rather than a perceived perfection to try to attain that was unattainable. My love for Baroque art has been for a very long time, and I'm starting to get back to that in my own art. I am really trying, as you'll see throughout the speed paint that's going on right now, really trying to work on my very bright highlights, deep shadows. This is the first one, so obviously not gonna be the best, but it's a start. And I think that whether you do things in the style of the masters or your own style, I think that just making your art a glimpse into the soul, at least for me, revealing life as it is, imperfect, insane, unbalanced, showing humans as they really are, compared with what I see today as this simpering political correctness that we all feel we need to portray. Whether it be in our art or our daily life or everything we do, this impression that we all need to be perfect is incorrect. Life would be boring if people weren't a little crazy and a lot different from one another. To sum this up, I'm going to say that the first artist that I want to feature, I did finally decide, is Bartolomé Esteban Murillo. His work is a very nice mix of everyday life pieces and religious iconography. He does a little bit of both, and I think that seeing one artist who does both northern style and southern style of Baroque art is a very nice way to introduce all of it. I'm hoping that you guys enjoyed the painting. I did have to finish it off camera. I got very frustrated with this. You can see a lot of spaces where I have overworked it. I know that. You guys don't need to tell me. But I had to keep going, and I was determined to get something relatively complete out of this. I still haven't finished it as of this recording, actually, and I'm probably going to finish it just before I post the painting itself. I still have to do the background. It's throwing me. I have been unable to decide on the color of the background. Anyway, I hope you guys will stick through me for this journey. I hope that you like the idea of learning about different artists and what brought them to their journey. And if this Baroque series goes well, I will consider doing other styles of art, other forms of, not other forms, other eras, I guess. All right, I'm done now. You guys have a great night.